Welcome to this next episode of YouTube entitled Preparation for Some Birthdays. And as you may recall, the 2012 litter was born a little bit earlier than the typical wolf pup. Boltz will be celebrating his first birthday on March 17th. Luna will be 1 year of age on March 25th. Aidan and Denali will be 5 years of age on April 27th. And Grizzer will be turning 9 on May 5th. And Shadow and Malik will be 13 on May 8th. So there's lots of birthday celebrations, and typically what a birthday means here for us is we will have some additional treat or something special for the wolves. But the reality is every day is like a birthday here. Every wolf gets treats, or every wolf gets a special care every day. That's our job in wolf care, 365 days a year, to make sure every individual's needs are met. And so a birthday celebration may mean more to the people than it does to the wolves, because our job is to make these wolves as comfortable as possible in captivity. So we are looking at some footage here at Luna, who's just kind of enjoying some of the snowfall. I should know better than to say that spring was on its way, because as soon as I posted that audio, we got some cold weather and some snow, and are continuing to get a little bit of a cold spell. That's increasing some of the activity a little bit, and this is typical greeting wolf care coming in. Excitability is pretty high. Everybody wants to get in there and greet. And Luna's a little bit aggressive, and you can hear the barking from Oscar. That usually, Oscar's a good barometer to tell us that the wolves are kind of excited. And so we did offer a feeding yesterday in the middle of the week to try to, again, address some of the calorie probably input that they needed in this returning to sub-zero weather. So we did feed 4 beavers. Everybody's got their own beaver. Here's Boltz guarding a little bit from Denali, and having, again, the opportunity to feed without too much competition. And that's something that we are kind of a little bit concerned about. Of all the wolves here, it's Boltz who is the most timid, and who we have to work the hardest to make sure that he gets an ample supply of food. And that may mean us guarding. It does mean us hand feeding. We're continuing to hand feed several times a week to the pups yet, which is longer than we've done for any of the pups that we've ever worked with. But it's the personality traits that we're dealing with, and the physical limitations of Luna that require us to purchase extra food and to be able to feed like that. And as I said in last week's YouTube, we are low on deer, and so we are compensating for that and giving smaller amounts of food more frequently. We are still buying chicken, another $500 order of chicken this week to help supplement, and we will again utilize the beaver resources as they become available and make sure that everybody gets an ample supply of food. We are seeing some compatibility between, again, Luna and Boltz. Boltz has given a little bit of a threat display, but nothing real serious. You know that as he switched beavers here. He went from a thawed one to a frozen one. We had thawed only a smaller portion of beaver, and then when we discovered, again, that the colder weather coming in, we decided to increase the amount, and that didn't give us ample time to thaw it. Doesn't matter to the wolves, they can chew it, and they can, feed pretty well on a frozen beaver. It's just our practice that we usually thaw things. So the other thing that is enjoyable to the pups, whenever we deliver beaver, there's blood that's in the snow, and that's one of their favorite things to do, is to lick in that blood and chew it and dig it, and they've dug themselves about an 8-inch hole there. So the male rank order is something that we're watching. Again, Denali in previous YouTubes had a little bit of a sort of dominance rank over him, but that's seemed to be calmed a little bit. Greetings are very good between Denali and Boltz and Aidan, so not too much issues going on there. When we go into Grizzer's enclosure, obviously the feeding of the exhibit pack gets him kind of excited, so he's going to take a race back to the top of the den and see what he can see. Grizzer thinks that anytime anybody else is fed, he needs to be fed, but he's on a different feeding regime, and so he gets ample amount of resources just in a certain time frame. So Grizzer is also very watchful, and again, we always talk about the YouTube footage with Grizzer is always subject to what he wants to do, which is submit and get his belly scratched from wolf care staff. So we are going to see a little bit of that clip while we're trying to do YouTube. He is socially engaged with people. He's, again, one of those wolves who gets a lot more attention because he has no competition in the exhibit pack. If someone were to roll over and get a greeting like this, there'd be 2 or 3 other wolves on top of him. And so Grizzer is one of the few wolves here that constantly gets belly scratches and gets interaction with staff. What he doesn't like is when we're filming, and that leads him to do some goofy things to try to get our attention, including play bows and sliding around the ground and trying to, make us stop filming and greet him. So we do a fair amount of that. We always make sure Grizzer gets attention before we're done with wolf care. And then over in retirement, again, one of the biggest things that we always say with them is we know that they're feeling good when their alert levels are very high, meaning they're keyed into what's going on in the exhibit. They really have a great still sense of hearing. Going on 13, they've had no sensory loss abilities. They're feeling good. They actually like the fresh snow, and one of the few that do. We're sick of it, but Shadow and Malik still like a good snowfall. So we're seeing some posturing between them, and that usually tells us that Shadow's feeling good. So he's asserting a little dominance over Malik there and doing what we call the play bow invite chase. And this time they actually did chase around a bit. We weren't able to get all of it on footage because they run pretty fast for 13 wolves going on 13 years of age. They are very agile, and they don't look their age, that's for sure. So the characteristic chin rest here of Shadow, again, a passive way to assert dominance, gets a little bit more physical when Malik shows a little defiance, but here Malik's just standing, taking and accepting this rank order. And I'll leave you here with a little bit of a clip of Malik howling this time. Normally we're filming Shadow when a howl starts, but this time we happen to be filming Malik, and so we'll leave you to observe that howl, which is a group howl, but Malik, being lower ranking, is going to be howling in a lower posture, not on top of the den like Shadow, but laying down in the enclosure and responding to the pack howl. So that's it for this week's YouTube. Thanks for watching.